It started with a scream, a sharp, desperate cry that sliced through the hum of the city like a knife. Keanu Reeves froze mid-step, his coffee cup hovering near his lips, as he watched a man in a crisp police uniform drag a sobbing woman toward a patrol car. Something was off. The badge glinted too brightly, the uniform too pristine, and the man's smirk? That wasn't justice, it was greed. Keanu Reeves lowered his cup, his pulse quickening. He didn't know it yet, but he was about to unravel a web of corruption that would test every ounce of his cunning, and he'd do it without throwing a single punch. Keanu Reeves wasn't a hero, at least not in the way people imagined. He didn't wear a cape or carry a gun. He was just a guy, tall, lean, with dark hair that fell into his eyes and a quiet way about him that made people trust him. A freelance photographer by trade, he had a knack for noticing details others missed, the way light hit a lens, the flicker of a lie in someone's expression. It was a skill honed over years of snapping shots in a city that never slept, a city where the line between right and wrong blurred like a smudged negative. On this humid Tuesday evening, as the sun dipped below the skyline, Keanu Reeves was heading home from a shoot when that scream stopped him cold. He didn't choose this fight. It chose him. The street was alive with the usual chaos, horns blaring, vendors shouting, pedestrians weaving through the crowd. But near the corner of 12th and Vine, a small knot of people had gathered, watching something unfold. Keanu Reeves edged closer, his camera still slung around his neck, and saw the scene that would change everything. 3 men in police uniforms were hassling a young woman, her hands trembling as she fumbled with her purse. "You're in violation of city code," one of them barked, his voice dripping with fake authority. "Pay the fine now, $200, or we take you in." The woman stammered, tears streaming down her face, insisting she'd done nothing wrong. The crowd murmured but didn't intervene. Keanu Reeves' gut twisted. He'd seen real cops before, gruff, tired, human. These guys? They were too polished, too eager, actors playing a part. He could have walked away. Most people would have. But Keanu Reeves wasn't most people. Growing up, he'd watched his dad, a small-time mechanic, get squeezed by loan sharks posing as legit collectors. No one helped then, and it left a mark. Keanu Reeves swore he'd never stand by while bullies preyed on the powerless. This wasn't just about curiosity anymore. It was personal. Keanu Reeves slipped his phone from his pocket and hit record, keeping it low and out of sight. The officers were a trio. The leader, a broad-shouldered guy with a buzz cut and a smake, a wiry one with twitchy hand hovering near a fake holster, and a third, younger, who kept glancing around like he was afraid of getting caught. Buzz Cut leaned in close to the woman, his voice low and menacing. "Cash only. No receipts. You don't want trouble, do you?" She shook her head, digging through her bag, and handed over a wad of bills. The crowd dispersed as she stumbled away, humiliated. Keanu Reeves stopped recording, his mind racing. This wasn't a one-off. This was a hustle. He tailed them from a distance, blending into the evening rush. They moved with purpose, hitting up a food cart vendor next, then an old man selling newspapers. Same script, fake violations, cash demands, threats of arrest. Keanu Reeves' jaw tightened. He didn't have a badge or a plan, but he had something better, his head. Violence wasn't his style. He'd seen enough of it growing up to know it rarely fixed anything. No, he'd beat them at their own game. Expose them. Make them trip over their own lies. First, he needed proof. The video was a start, but it wasn't enough. Grainy, shaky, no clear shot of their faces or badges. He needed to get closer. Before trailing them further, Keanu Reeves ducked into his tiny apartment, grabbing a voice recorder and a second SD card for his camera. Backup was key if things went south. He swapped his jacket for a faded hoodie, knowing every detail mattered in staying unseen. Slipping into a convenience store, he grabbed a cheap baseball cap and a pair of sunglasses, altering his look just enough to avoid recognition. Then he followed them to a dimly lit alley where they parked their patrol car, a beat-up sedan with a slapped-on vinyl wrap and a light bar that flickered like a discount Halloween prop. Amateur hour, Keanu Reeves thought. He crouched behind a dumpster, snapping photos with his camera's zoom lens, the car's license plate, the peeling decals, the fake badge numbers stitched onto their uniforms. A shadow shifted. Buzz Cut's head snapped toward the dumpster. Keanu Reeves held his breath, flattening himself against the wall as a rat skittered past, drawing the man's gaze. Too close. Buzzcut muttered something, then lit a cigarette, laughing with the others. Easiest gig yet, he said. Nobody questions a cop. Keanu Reeves' next move was riskier. He needed to test them, see how deep the scam ran. Back on the main street, he waited until they targeted their next mark, a teenage skateboard accounting chain, for a soda. As Buzzcut started his spiel, unpermitted loitering. Kid, $50 or you're coming with us. Keanu Reeves stepped in, casual as could be. Hey, officers, he said, voice steady. Mind if I ask what precinct you're from? My cousins on the force love to say hi. The trio froze. Buzzcut's smirk faltered, but he recovered fast. Precinct 14, he grunted. Now beat it. Keanu Reeves nodded, walking off, but he knew the lie. Precinct 14 didn't exist. He checked the city's precinct map on his phone earlier. Game on. He spent the next day digging. A quick web search of the license plate turned up a rental company, not a police impound. Ex-post from local complained about weird cops demanding cash, but no one had connected the dots. Keanu cross-referenced his photos with uniform regulations. Real badges had raised lettering, not flat embroidery like these clowns. The pieces were falling into place, but he needed a knockout blow. He couldn't just call the real cops yet. The fakes might scatter, and without ironclad evidence, they'd walk free. That's when the idea hit him. Flip the script. If they wanted to play cops, he'd play criminal. He enlisted help from a friend, MIA, a barista with a flair for drama. Together, they staged the scene the next evening near the fake's usual haunt. MIA, dressed in a hoodie and ripped jeans, pretended to pickpocket Keanu's wallet in full view of Buzzcut and his crew. Stop, huh? Keanu shouted, pointing as MIA bolted down an alley. The fake cops took the bait, chasing her with all the swagger of wannabe heroes. Keanu followed, filming as MIA led them straight into a trap, a dead-end street where a real patrol car, tipped off by Keanu earlier, waited in the shadows. The real officers stepped out, guns holstered but voices firm. Hands up. Identify yourselves. Buzzcut stammered, fumbling with his fake badge. We're cops? Man, check the uniforms. The real cop, a grizzled veteran named Torres, didn't blink. Funny, I don't know you. And that badge? Looks like my kid made it in art class. Keanu handed over his footage and photos, stepping back as Torres and his partner cuffed the trio. The wiry one cracked first, spilling everything. They'd been running the scam for months, pocketing thousands. No training, no authority, just greed in a costume shop. Word spread fast. By morning, the story was all over X, grainy clips of the fake cop's arrest, tagged with #justice served and #fake badge bust. Keanu didn't stick around for the applause. He was already back at his apartment, editing photos from his latest gig. But MIA wouldn't let it go. She barged in, coffee in hand, grinning like she'd won the lottery. You're trending, man. They're calling you the Shadow Sleuth. You got to own this. Keanu shrugged, sipping his black coffee. I didn't do it for fame. I did it 'cause it was right. MIA rolled her eyes. Yeah, noble Keanu strikes again. But think about it. People need someone like you out there. That night, he couldn't sleep. Mia's words gnawed at him. He'd always seen himself as a bystander, capturing life through a lens, not shaping it. But those fake cops, they preyed on people like his dad, people who couldn't fight back. Maybe he couldn't walk away anymore. He pulled up his laptop, scrolling through X posts about similar scams in other neighborhoods. A pattern emerged: fake parking tickets, sham inspectors, more imposters in uniforms. Keanu's fingers hovered over the keys. He wasn't a cop, wasn't a vigilante, but he had eyes, a camera, and a mind that didn't quit. Maybe that was enough to start something. As a patrol car hauled the fakes away, Torres gave Keanu a nod. You're crazy, kid, but you did good. Ever think about joining the force? Keanu smiled faintly, shaking his head. Not my style. I just don't like bullies. He walked off into the night, camera slung over his shoulder, the city buzzing around him. The woman from that first night would never know who saved her from more shakedowns, nor would the vendor or the newsstand guy. But Keanu didn't need thanks. He'd seen the truth, expose it, and walked away clean. No fists, no blood, just a sharp mind and a steady hand. In a city full of shadows, that was enough for now. Back home, he set his camera down and opened his laptop again. The fight wasn't over. It was just beginning.